Hi, hello, good evening, and good day. This was a landmark week in the Big Brother 26 house, and we can't wait to get into it. If you joined us on our impromptu live on Monday, we kind of got into some of this stuff, so we are going to breeze past some of the early veto stuff. It is certainly enough stuff. This was chock full of nuts. If
It was
you
really
will.
crazy.
So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. I am Kyle Petty Pasal, and I am joined, as always, by my festy bestie, John Dunphy Judea and Gino Morgino Martin. And this is Strat Chat. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. We have decided to drop the blue sky. We don't care anything
Sorry,
about
girl. Bye, blue
their
sky.
skies being blue and blue. We are done with them. Hello, friends. Hey, who all gonna be there? Y'all gonna be there?
Woo!
Hey. And of course, Matt Blevins is here too. How you doing, boo?
I like
Welcome.
festivals. I like it.
Very fun. Very fun. Okay, despite the attempts of my mother and I, Quinn did not leave the house this evening. I successfully logged 90 votes for Quinn.
90? Kyle!
I logged 90 votes.
Why would you do that to me?
It had very little to do with you. I mean, I will say that imagining you being upset that one of your picks was going home, I wouldn't say that did not play into that being a bonus in my decision making. I'm just walking around here like so smug and so confident, fake. I just wanted to see him go home with a power in his back pocket. It's just as satisfying as watching somebody go home with an idol on The Survivors.
See, I honestly, I couldn't agree more. I really wanted to see Quinn leave.
No, I wanted to see it.
Specifically for my detriment.
No, not because of your detriment. It's because,
hey Renee.
Hey, what's up, Renee? So listen, Quinn seems like a nice enough man, but as each week has gone on, I found him to be more and more grating, and I am so tired of being screamed at by him in the diary room.
Screamed at.
I get it. I get that Quinn is not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not sitting here being like, well, why don't you like it? I get it. I know that, like, if he and I met as people and not him as a house guest, we would vibe so well. I know we would.
Oh, you know what? I think I would vibe with him too. It has nothing to do with that. It has more to do with the fact that, well, that's what Tucker wanted.
Can I also just add, because Kyle mentioned his 90 votes for Quinn. I did actually vote 10 times for Quinn. But I will say Kyle's 90 was very fun because Kyle's family got into the triple digits because Kyle's mom voted 10 times for Quinn also.
She sure did. She goes, I will watch the ad for an extra 5 minutes to make sure Quinn goes home. And then, like, when it didn't work out, she texted me. She said, what's wrong with this house?
100 votes against my number one.
Mm-hmm. She just wrote, kind of annoyed with the house. She goes, and then I said, listen, I'm annoyed too. But there is a part of me that gets it, because Kenney wanted to go home. You can't really play with Kenney, right? No matter what you say about Quinn, you can't play with Kenney. His heart's not really in it. You saw from that conversation. By the way, as another quick aside, the editing of this season is absolutely fantastic. First of all, whoever's running the socials, I mean, honestly.
Yes.
They've been good. They've been very good, yeah.
We have a sound for this. Thank you to whoever is running the socials because absolutely fantastic. But the editing in that conversation with Kenney and Cedric, the thumbs up and thumbs down, like it was, I
Yes.
honestly made me laugh so many times. And even rewatching it, I was like, no, I'm still on board for this. This was really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's no fun to play with somebody who's like sitting there the whole time being like, I just want to go home. I wish I didn't
Mhm.
take myself off with the veto so I could be on the block. Like that's just like a bummer as a viewer to watch. It's a bummer
Yes.
to play against that person, but also like if I'm a person trying to win, I'm not going to be satisfied winning against that person because you're not trying. That is not a satisfactory
Right.
win to me. I want
Mhm.
to win against people who are gunning for it, and I
Who
know that I
actually
bested
want to be
you,
there.
not against somebody that doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
also bothered me like the flip flop of it. Like if you're gonna whine about being there and tell people you want to go home, I'm sorry, you can't just go one day you wake up and you're like, no,
Yeah.
my head's in it, I really want to be here, and then the next day be like, oh, I really miss my kids, I want to go home. Like it's so annoying. It's like,
And in the same conversation, like if I was Cedric, I'd be like, how do you not address that? I'd be like, what are you saying?
You're like, do you want to be here or don't you?
What are you saying about?
yeah. And
Secret.
then
What are you saying about?
honestly, I also didn't realize, like in his exit interview, seeing that like he apparently had tried for years to be on this show, and I'm like, really? You tried for
Really?
years, and this is the way that you played the game, and you're gonna exit. Still
Like
Not
you
even
talking.
know,
one
at that
thing.
point, especially because his wife is a super fan, like you know
Mhm.
exactly what you are signing up to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like he's still in his exit interview talking about how much he loved Matt because his dad's a police officer. It's like we're so far past that now, man.
Literally, because that's the only thing that he was thinking about.
Way far past that. And like granted, like listen, you can watch the show, you can assume that like you know what's going on and you know what it's gonna be like, but you really don't know what until you're in it. And I'd have to assume that being of an advanced age, because I wouldn't say he's old, but he's certainly older than the other people in there.
Mhm.
I'm sure that's isolating in a way. And the only other person that is your peer is Angela. I mean, there ain't no way to go either. So,
Yeah.
there's a part of me that does get it, but yes, as a viewer, I think this sucks.
Yeah.
And I would have rathered that.
And freaking Angela, who would have thought that when the whole Crazy Eyes blow up started, that what was it, 3 weeks later, somebody is saving her with the veto when that person is also on the block. Like,
It is really
like, what is
crazy.
happening?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so I had seen a tweet. I'm going to jump around a little bit, have a casual conversation here. But I had seen a tweet from Izzy, who was saying that if you let Quinn stay, you've got to let you. Everyone should just be throwing this HOH to make sure that he wins it, so he
Mhm.
doesn't use his power. Because if he does, if he uses his power, he's still eligible for HOH the next week. Whereas if you allow him to win, then and I think the power expires.
The power does expire after this week, but I feel like we've seen people do like takeover HOHs before, and because it's a secret power, they're supposed to secretly throw it.
Right. That is what they
I don't
say.
I don't know that he's eligible or
We don't
not.
know either. I'm just saying this is what Izzy said on the Twitter.
Because they have
Um,
flip flop that. I feel like last year was it Jag even like there was somebody recently that like was able to play even though they had a power the week before where they shouldn't have been eligible. So I know they've like gone back and forth.
well, the purpose of this conversation was not to be spouting facts. I was really just
Sorry.
trying to start a conversation about what people thought about the tweet. But like I
I'm
was
sorry.
completely overrun. But what do you
Sorry.
think about it? I mean, we already know what you think now. You ain't for it. You want to follow the rules, like be a rule curmudgeon.
I'm
So
sorry.
A rule curmudgeon.
I don't know why. I don't know why this means it. I just
I don't know what this is, but
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
pause. Like
This is apparently the universal sign for curmudgeon.
I kind of like it.
it also gave me a chance to show off my nails before we get rid of them. But like, so John, like, what do you think of that?
So remind me again exactly what the tweet said, because I feel like
So
the
Izzy was
sideline that
basically-
Gina threw us on
I'm
there, like
sorry.
totally threw me off.
I'm sorry.
So what Izzy was saying was that like you want to make sure that Quinn wins HOH so that he is not eligible for HOH the following week, under the understanding or perceived understanding that if you play this power, then you might be eligible for it the next week. But Gina does bring up a good point, because then you do also now wonder, like, so, because this was a deep fake. You're supposed to be hiding behind it. So if this power wasn't public, would they still have allowed you to be eligible the next week?
Yeah, I don't know. What have they called it in the past? Like invisible HOH or something like that, or like, I'd have to go back and look. Maybe somebody in the chat even knows. Oh, Claire had to throw. Jag didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, you all gonna be there? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So, but it's weird. I mean, I guess if they were to throw it to him, would it essentially like nullify the power 1 week early? You know what I mean?
Well, it expires next week anyway.
Well,
right.
This would be the last week coming up that he could
Yes.
use it, right? So yeah,
This week.
So I mean, although I guess there's obviously this is a big risk because you're essentially sacrificing someone. But like, could you set it up to be like a test for Quinn, right? Where it's like, because didn't we hear him say in this episode that like he wasn't going to use the power or something like that? And like,
we did, but I think in his conversations on the live feeds, from what I was seeing since then, he has basically been saying like, just throw the HOH to me, because like I'll either like I'm gonna be the HOH no matter what. Like now that everybody knows it's me, I'm just gonna do it. So like what? Like I think
honestly,
that was part of his pitching.
Because if I was the house, I honestly might be like, listen, we're gonna trust you not to use this power this week. You said you wouldn't use it. So if you do use it and things get screwed up, we'll know, and then we're definitely going to cut you. You know what I mean?
I do think that that's changed since that moment.
Obviously, that's a big risk because somebody's going home, and it's not Quinn. So
Right.
who's going to want to sign up for that? But like, I don't know. I kind of think they messed up by not voting Quinn out tonight. So
I'm happy about it.
No, so I'm not saying it even. I'm not saying it because I wanted you necessarily to lose a number. I just think that they made a mistake. Honestly, I think they made the wrong choice by keeping him.
I think it was the wrong decision too. But if the power expires, then like fine. But I do still wonder what place this puts Quinn in the house, knowing that he has lied to so many people. This was a very accelerated eviction cycle, and now that we don't have this automatic kind of like gimme with Kenney, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how the week plays out. As a quick aside, wrong, everything's moving too fast. Matt wanted to know, do the hashtag still work for Julie Judgment before we show the segment? Yes, it does. Yes, it does, as far as we know. So, you can hashtag you're hot, hashtag you're tepid, hashtag you're not in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. As another real quick aside, there's a lot going on tonight. This is
I forgot we'd have to do this. Oh, right. No.
This is what we did last week. These are the results. If you don't follow us on Instagram, your best, do so at StratChatPod. But like, this is where we post the results of our polls. G-Core is in the lead with 13 points. A little bit from everybody. Everyone's been giving us something. Chelsea's in second with 11. And I guess we got Quinn with 6. I'd love to see how Quinn does this week. You can vote for your favorite of the week, either by scanning the QR code and submitting your vote that way, or hit us up in the comments, hashtag first name, the person that you love. Mind you, if you're voting for Makensy, that's going to be a hashtag MJ. A hashtag MJ. It's not the full Makensy. Wanted to make it easier for people on the phones. So that's all that. So yes, I still think Quinn has some troubles.
Oh, I do too.
This week
ahead, for sure got some troubles. Yeah,
I guess like he's still playing so like way more messy than I would have expected for someone like him. Like even the way that like we saw how he outed his power to Chemo, like being like he could have just approached this and been like, listen, I want to tell you something. I haven't really told anybody else about this, but I have this power. Like the way that he started the conversation in the episode tonight that we saw was like, listen, I've been lying to everyone. I'm like, that's not a good way to start a sentence in this game.
Like, no, it's not.
I get that he's built a lot of good relationships and like a lot of people are working with him, but like he was able to so easily lie to so many different people that like I feel like if people start thinking about this a little bit more, they're going to say, all right, if he was willing to lie about this for 3 weeks and it only came out because the house blew up, like, what else is he lying to me about? How many other lines is he in? Like, I don't think that like this is going to play out well for Quinn over time.
Well, the other problem with Quinn is he's got a big mouth and he's been telling people exactly what other alliances he's in.
That's the thing. During that whole house meeting, when they were talking about his power, he was like, I didn't tell anybody because I didn't want them to know about it. You told Angela and Chemo. What do you mean you didn't tell anyone? Like, what are you saying? But, and to Renee's point, I definitely didn't want to hear Kenney complain all week about how he wants to go home. But I also maybe wouldn't have minded not being yelled at by Quinn in the diary room anymore.
No, I didn't want to hear Kenney complain all week either, but I do find some enjoyment in somebody who's like, can you please send me home? Like, no! Can we send me home? No! It doesn't work for me.
I can't stand here anymore.
I miss my family. No, it doesn't work for my game. Well, what about me? I don't care. It's like, I do enjoy like that back. So like,
and it's like that. I think maybe that would be a little bit more fun if he like consistently didn't want to be there and like also wasn't trying. It's the fact that he like guns in these competitions and then is like, but I want to go home. It's like, no, you're either competing or you're not. So like if you're like literally begging to go home and you're not competing and it gives like Kate and the Traitors like, can you just let me get out of here? And they're like, no, because that's one less person I have to compete against,
Except, does it give Kate and the Traitors? Because like her first season, like she made it very clear.
She was much more fun.
Yeah, she made it very clear she did not want to be there. She was literally throwing away.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it would give that if he wasn't trying in competitions and was like, "Can you send me home?" But the fact that he's still actively competing against them, that makes it so much less fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like an ego thing too. It's like he wants to look like he's like the alpha macho man or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he wants to beat everybody. But like, I feel like his heart was never really in it. It feels like.
And to Liz's point here too, like that is the reason why he didn't self-evict. Like he knows in the rules that if you self-evict, you don't get your stipend. So instead he continued to like keep staying in there, keep playing, even though he wanted to self-evict and just wouldn't shut up about wanting them to send him home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For once, I don't disagree.
For once.
Yeah, I have no devil's advocate here. I agree. All right, so the veto competition. I thought this one was fun. We saw our house guest having to recharge Ainsley, right? Because she's feeling little tie-ties. So they had to move this little like contraption thing like through. The theme of this was strange, but I did like the competition itself. Having to move this thing through. Don't hit any vines. It's going to like reduce the power core and blah,
I don't know
blah.
why we were in the jungle. I don't really know.
I didn't get the whole jungle thing, but I enjoyed the competition itself. At first, I was initially turned off because I was like, well, how heavy is this? Because one of the things that we have touted as being one of the most fantastic things about this season has been equitable comps. And I was like, I can't tell if this is heavy. I was like, what is this going to be? Once I realized that was no more than the thing that I got at House Chops, the little flashy thing. And I was like, oh, that's mad light. I love this competition because this is really just about how you maneuver. Has nothing to do with strength or anything like that. Fantastic competition, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Just needed a sponsor. We love a sponsored comp. And I did love the glow stick thing every time it hit a bamboo stick, going boing.
I loved this competition. What?
Boing.
I loved this competition. I just feel like I would have been disastrously bad at it. Like I would have been hitting vines left, right, and center. I would have been terrible at this.
Well, all right. So remind me of the rules, though. Was time actually a factor, or was it really just
I'm sure
accuracy?
I think time was a factor if people were tied. So like, let's say two people came out with 95% of a charge. Whoever does it faster, I'm sure, would get the edge. So I think it definitely is important to like take your time and go, go very slow and try not to hit any of the vines or whatever, so you can get the highest percentage. But in the case of a tie, I would assume it would be done by time. So
I'd also assume that, yeah,
I guess so. Because I think I would have done well with this if not for the time portion of it. But I guess What a stupid statement. I suppose everyone can do that with anything.
I just think I would have been hitting things all over. Like, you kept saying people being like, oh, dang it. Oh, man. Like, that would have been me. I would have just been hitting vines like, shit, you know?
Son of a bitch! Just throw the whole core over there and just run to the end.
Right.
You can't say I hit anything because I didn't.
If I do it too fast, you didn't see it.
I did enjoy Tucker, like, just turning Australian in this. Running around like, crikey!
Tucker has so many personality. Literally, he is the epitome of never let him know your next move. Like, he's just like out here doing whatever, whenever.
Matt completely disagrees with me.
Oh no, yeah, Matt really, really like hates Tucker, and it led to me to stop responding to his text last night because I was like, I can't listen to this. I don't know what you're talking about. I think Tucker is fantastic, wonderful TV, playing the game in a way that is making things so exciting.
Yeah.
We say all the time in Big Brother, I'm so sick of people playing such a predictable game. I knew this was going to go. I knew this was going to be this. Stop playing with the house. Do your own things. And Tucker says, I don't care what y'all did 25 seasons ago. I don't care about the past 25 years. I'm playing this game. I want to play it. I don't like you. You got this power. I want you to get out. I'm going to just play all wild. And like,
Julie, what one thing Tucker will never be is predictable.
Yes, and I think it's fantastic.
He will never be.
Oh,
and
yeah.
depending on how he continues, I'm so excited by Tucker right now because he is not firmly aligned with anyone, and I know there were a lot of conversations over the past week about like, listen, if Tucker stays up there, we want to vote him out. I'm not saying that right now. I would have liked to see how that one played out because I don't think that right now this would have worked in his favor, but I'm not completely sure that in 2 or 3 weeks from now that he would be in the same social position.
Right.
For the people who don't watch the feeds, our casuals out there, like there is a reason why when Julie announced that Tucker won, that the camera zoomed in on Rubina. You have not seen any of that relationship or what's starting to flourish there, but we are getting a showman.
I mean,
here.
to
So
be
you
true, the
already knew
casuals
that
haven't seen
Alison
Rubina at
Grodner was
all.
not going to say that Tucker was going to go home on tonight. We already knew he wasn't because like we need a showmance. Y'all already done in the whole MJ and Matt thing. So like we are, listen, Grodner is rooting for Tucker and Rubina.
Yeah.
And I think that means a lot.
I'm still gonna call them Rabucker. I think that was Matt Blevins' suggestion because Tubina, I hate it. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna call them a tube of beans. I'm sorry.
A tube of beans.
So, but I do agree with some of what AWOL gonna be there and Liz was saying about Tucker really going in on Cedric. Like I kind of felt like that was unfair. Like this is Cedric's HOH. He's got to have some control. Like, and I felt like Tucker was not being fair to Cedric at all in this moment. But I agree with everything else about Tucker being super fun, bringing the chaos. Like he is such an unconventional player. He's all over the place. And like what's so exciting about it is that it's like he is like the definition of like a high risk, high reward person. Like if this pays off, like this is going to be great. If it doesn't, I'll probably go home. Like I love that. Like I love that there's a player like him in this season. And I would love if there was a player like that on every season that was just not going to listen to what anybody else said. It's exciting. It really is. But I didn't. But I didn't love the. I didn't love the treatment of Cedric in this episode. It's his HOH. You know, it's his. Like, you can't. Yeah. Like and he told you use the veto on yourself. We don't have the numbers, so he did say that before the veto meeting,
right? And like I agree with all of that. I also think it was really wild that like his whole thing is like, Quinn, why wouldn't you tell us about this power? And it's like, well, I mean, the object is that he's not supposed to. Like he was bad for telling anybody about it. So like I don't know that you can like get mad at him for not telling the whole house about it because like you're not supposed to. And also it was so crazy that like at the end of this AI arena, he was like, you trying to send me home? What now? It's like this whole big thing. And it's like, babe, both times you've been on the block, you asked to be there and you didn't take yourself down with the veto. No one's trying to send you home. You put yourself there.
Yeah, the reason you've been on the block 2 weeks in a row is because you asked to be there.
And then chose to be on the block.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't disagree with all of that, but I still do think so. It also depends when before the veto meeting did this conversation with Tucker and Cedric take place.
It
You know,
said like
because if
90 minutes before. I think is what it said in the
a
episode.
lot can change after 90 minutes, and if you were still convinced that this was something that he was going to do, and then he makes that move, I could see being annoyed. Like I thought that we had a plan.
I don't know if Cedric was ever fully in on that plan to begin with, though. And then I feel like an hour and a half before the meeting, like, yeah, sure, a lot can happen in between. But if you come, because that was the thing, Cedric was saying, like, I told you to use the veto on yourself. And Tucker was trying to frame this like, you never told me to do that. But we literally saw the footage of Cedric saying to him, use the veto on yourself. And Tucker said, if you said that to me, I would have used it on myself. But he did. So that's all. I love the chaos, but.
I must have tuned out when Cedric said that because I did not remember that. So
No,
I
they
came with a
had
whole
edited it
different
into the
energy.
episode like maybe 15 minutes before they edited in the clip of him being like, I never said that. They had put in the clip of when he said it.
Okay, all right. So Cedric is an honest man. It's an honest man.
Mm-hmm.
Man on the moon. Welcome back. Welcome back. What are we saying?
Oh my god.
Tucker Giesling stays winning. Tucker Hale, Tucker Riley.
I don't know if I'm gonna say all that.
Oh, hey, who all gonna be there?
I know I'm not going to say that.
Hey, who all gonna be there? Says fun fact for this season: veto winners of each week have subsequently went home. Tucker is next.
Oh,
No!
I don't think I've noticed that.
No.
You want to hear another fun fact? Actually,
Sure.
somebody else tweeted out that. So Angela nominated right in that first week. It was who? It was Matt. Well, first it was Lisa, Kenney, and Chemo, right?
Yes.
Lisa took herself down and she put Matt, right?
Yes.
And so if you notice, the only person in that group of 4 that Angela nominated week 1, they've all left except for Chemo. So some people are saying, Chemo, you better watch out. The curse of Angela.
I'd rather Chemo go than Tucker. Chemo is giving us nothing in terms of entertainment.
But he's
to
a
be
nice
fair,
man.
though, a lot of them are giving us
He's
nothing
very nice.
right now.
I'm sure they're all very nice.
And he's on my team.
Well, Tucker's on mine. So sorry. I mean, like, it ends there. All right. Well, I guess that's on that. We don't have any team updates, right? Because Kenney was the undrafted person.
How nice. We all get a break.
Yes, all 3 of us come out of this week unscathed, but that also means that there are no weeks going forward that you get a bye. Someone is taking a hit unless there's some weird twist where there's no eviction, but then we're definitely catching up with the double.
Right.
So everyone will get theirs.
I really would hope that they have learned their lesson from last season of like, you can't just have a whole week that just gets completely negated out of nowhere.
I mean, they've done it in previous seasons before that.
No, I know, but at least it was executed better. Like, we've seen that, like the BB rewind or whatever, right? Where like the week got rewound. We've seen things like that, but like, I feel like last season, especially like like the week, like the week that we had, who was it that it was Jag, right? That was supposed to leave that week, and Matt saved him. Was that what it was? I forget.
Oh, I really don't remember. That sounds right.
It felt like such an unfulfilling week because like it had been a good week. Like the feeds were pretty good, I think. Like things were pretty chaotic, and then the whole thing just didn't matter. And that was like the same week as the what was the comp? The endurance comp that they did. They have to hold pressure cooker, right? Wasn't that like the same week that all happened too? Like it was like
that all sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it was like, oh, like we finally get this historic competition back. Like everyone's so excited for it, and then we get the HOH, and nothing that happens even mattered that whole week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could have some of the details wrong. Someone in the chat correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you're spot on that. I think that's exactly what happened.
But
she has no recollection. She is and he is and me. No idea. So whatever you said, I believe it.
No, because I think that was the big like problem that everybody had with it was like you gave us pressure cooker and put it in a week where it didn't matter.
Right.
I feel like this cast would be fun with a pressure cooker situation.
This cast would be amazing with a pressure cooker situation. And I would also, I think that is something that would allow us to see Rubina a little bit more because we already know that she's like a BB super fan, right? I want to see more Rubina so bad. And
I don't think she's had a DR yet.
She had to have had a couple. Come on.
I don't think she has.
How many episodes are we?
Come
in?
on.
No, there's that account.
No, it's just the way you say
that does like diary room counts every episode. I'm pretty sure Rubina is always at 0. Maybe
zero for
in
the entire season.
I don't think she's had any. Maybe one.
I won't believe that. I'm gonna research this.
Man on the Moon, thank you for episode 11, season 25. What week is episode 11? We have no idea. That could be 3 or 4. 3 or 4. But we shall see. Who all gonna be there, cosign?
Yeah, I'm telling you, she's had no DRs.
So we know they're gonna be there. No, stop. I gotta stop saying it's stupid. I'm always so proud of myself. No, Matt saying that Rubina is the Bowie Jane of BB.
Let's not say all that.
Hey, listen.
Let's not.
To be totally honest, though, Rubina's on my team, and Bowie Jane made final 3. So you know what? If Rubina is destined for Bowie Jane's fate as a final 3 person, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but I would hope that Rubina would have a little bit more respect on her name when she gets to final 3 than Bowie Jane did.
Honestly,
like, that's not the finish I want.
Her showmance with Tucker is already puts her at doing something more than Bowie Jane did in the games.
Which also, have you seen, someone posted this on Twitter, or I think it was earlier this week, that Bowie Jane, like on whatever social media platform it was doing like a deep dive of the week and talking about the like Tucker, Cedric, Quinn fiasco. I was like, not Bowie Jane talking strategy now. Finally, she's got her head in this game. It's not her season.
Now she lived it, she's watched it, and now she's ready to comment on it.
Okay, I just typed in on Twitter Rubina diary room, and the first tweet that came up was somebody literally 40 minutes ago. 53 minutes ago now. Sorry. Rubina hasn't had a DR since the week 2 HOH. She has had apparently she has had 8 in total. None from this week.
I honestly thought she had none.
Yeah. She's had 8 total. It's been apparently since the week 2 HOH, so that's pretty wild, right? I mean,
she's barely even in the edit. Like, even just like walking around the house, you don't see her. There was that moment where like they were doing the segment of like everybody asking America not to vote for them or whatever, and she was talking to somebody outside of the hammock, and like everybody on Twitter was like, "Oh my God, Rubina made the episode," because you literally just don't see her.
Honestly, it might have saved her from being America's vote too, because no one knows who she is.
I think that is also what saved Miss Brooklyn, okay, because we know that she knows Miss Ma'am, and like that is a reason why she is not widely liked among the hardcore fan base. I still don't think that until she does something problematic, I don't think we should be writing her off. Like I wouldn't want to be written off for something that my alleged friend did 11 years ago.
Right, and we don't know how close they are. They could just like follow each other on Instagram from having mutual friends.
Well, I did see a picture of them together, but it was like a group shot, and it's like, I'm in a lot of group shots I didn't want to be a part of.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I have. There's probably some picture on one of my social media pages that a picture from 10 years ago, somebody that I don't even speak to anymore, like,
yeah, I'm in pictures with people I've like never met because they happen to be friends of friends that I was with,
right? Like, let's not get crazy. Like, let's see what she does before we like write her off, because I wouldn't want to be held responsible for the behavior of people like I might not really know,
Yeah, no, you're right. Until she does something problematic herself, we really you can't get on her for that.
Love you too. Y'all have a good stream.
Yeah. Hey, who all gonna be there?
If you're looking for extra BB26 coverage or many other reality TV show faves, like check out our besties. Hey, who all gonna be there? Who's gonna be there? You should. And now I'm done. Now I'm done with it. I'm done. But yeah, good people doing good things. Yeah, we like to cheer on our friends.
Yes.
Absolutely. I will say this feels like a really good time to transition into this week's segment of the Julie Judgment.
Let's do it.
I had really high expectations for what she was going to do this week, being that this was arguably the biggest episode of this season thus far. Like, you had the premiere, everything else was, I don't want to say mid, but there was a lot happening live, right? We got to see the results of America's Veto. You're doing the AI arena live, and then you still get the eviction, and we expected great things from Julie. Is that what we got? Let's get into it.
Oh, Julie. Oh.
What happened?
Where's the Clippy?
Oh, Julie. Oh, Julie. What are we wearing this week?
We'll say things have not gone great for Miss Julie. Now, I'm sorry. Forgive the hands in the photo.
I love it.
All right, this
it.
was the clearest photo that I could get. First vote's in, and it's a not. This I will. All right, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. First, we're going to start with we had this white blouse underneath this. What do you call this print? Art
like a paisley?
A paisley, yeah, I would say paisley.
Paisley blue on top of the white. This does feel like something that you might wear on Sunday. You know, I said last week that I was looking for Sunday's best. This is, I wouldn't say this is Sunday's best. This feels to me like your third Sunday attire. You know, the first Sundays when we do communion, that's not when we would wear our best. Like, you know, you really, it is where you would wear your best, rather. That's why you wouldn't wear this. So it's definitely not a first Sunday outfit. Second Sunday, usually when the kids sing, you know, that's youth choir Sunday. You would do a little bit better than that. This feels like third Sunday, a little bit lazy. People are not coming out as much for the third Sunday. And that's what this was for me. This is for me a tepid. This is a tepid. And you can also let us know in the comments what you think about it. Hashtag hot, hashtag tepid, hashtag not. It looks like the knots are winning right now. Or you can scan the QR code to log your vote if you're not going to do the hashtaggies. Our friends on Instagram and Twitter, you're not eligible for the hashtag. So scan the QR code and let us know. You guys, what do you think? What do you think of Julie's fit this week?
Well, I don't know if you saw the tweet that I tagged you in earlier, but Miss Natalie had tweeted at me and said at the top of the episode, "This week is a hot. I don't know what you guys are talking about." And I was like, oh, I don't know that Kyle's going to agree. Can't wait to get into the segment. I think you're in the minority on this one. And I do agree. Like, we were hyping it up so much because this was going to be such a crazy week. And we were like, all right, you got to come correct. This is giving like double eviction energy. Like, this is literally going to be insane. You have to come correct. And then we got what we got. And it's not bad. I'm not going to say it's a not, but it's not a hot. Like, I have to go tepid as well.
Tepid. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, we have we've praised some things about this show tonight, you know, during the stream. Things like the editing of the show, right? And
the writing is on the wall.
Whoever is you know, running the social media accounts for Big Brother, we've said, you know, really good job. Really praised them.
Good job.
And you know, there are people. Julie's been doing this a long time, you know, and you know, there are some people that would like her to step away, you know, potentially, but you know, we always feel like she is just part of the show. She's just part of the fabric of the show, right? And so, you know, you can't just get rid of Julie.
No.
But usually during these seasons, right, there's some good bangers out there. These outfits that she gets, right, real hots. I can very confidently say it's a hot. This is not. Oh, I don't know.
I was like, are you saying right now?
I don't know.
Got nervous.
If we can praise the editing, we can praise the social media. Whoever's running the wardrobe, though, that seems to be the one place where the show has decided to downgrade.
Mhm.
And you know what? In a lot of cases, I might have given this a tepid. But because every outfit has been so lackluster week after week, I'm just going to give this a nod. I'm tired of this.
Ugh.
We're used to like these really nice dresses and gowns that Julie wears, right? It's great jewelry, hair done great. There has not been one outfit that she's worn this season that I've been like, that is a hot.
That's it.
It's either all been tepid or not. And this one, maybe if she had a couple of hots in there, I would have said, you know what, she wanted to be a little more comfortable tonight, so she went with a tepid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, it's not going to cut it. In a season full of tepids, in a season,
It's not going to cut it.
Yeah, in a season full of tepids and knots, I cannot put this above a knot. I'm sorry, it feels lazy. It feels lazy to me.
Damn. I will say I had a good giggle when I first saw her because like I had made the joke earlier in the week, guys. What if she comes in wearing denim? And we ha. There's no way. And while she wasn't wearing blue denim, these pants were denim adjacent. I said, you just wear white jeans.
You
girl.
are really pushing it. You're pushing it. Yeah. This wasn't great. This wasn't great.
I also do really love the Matt Blevins theory that she cannot have a good outfit and a good talking night on the same night. So she spoke well tonight, which means the outfit was bad.
That's so funny. Man on the Moon says she dresses better than Jeff Probst, and I'd say
that is true.
The bare minimum should be dressing better than Jeff Probst.
He's on an island. Have we lost him, or is that just
Did
me?
we just lose Kyle?
It's not just you.
We might have just lost. Yeah.
I can hear that he's noticing it. Oh.
I'm sorry, dear.
Are you with us, John?
All we know is that you're not. Yeah, you're not thrilled. You're not thrilled.
Yeah, he's having a bad time. He was so disgusted by this outfit.
I know. It totally broke down his.
He just left.
His Wi-Fi said, "You know what? You're not the only one who's done. I'm out of here."
Julie's outfit broke him.
So stupid.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Man on the Moon. He was trying to talk down on Julie's style. That's Julie's karma.
Oh my god.
That's
So
really
silly.
funny. That is so good. Oh, I love that. I love that. If you haven't gotten your votes in yet, make sure you do so for your favorite player. There's a lot of different things coming in here. Wait, Cedric is taking the lead, huh? Wow. That is what I would say interesting. Interesting.
Oh, I was like, what is that word?
Yeah. That's how we do. That's how we do. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, votes are open until the conclusion of the stream. So, certainly get them in. Get them in. So, how do we feel about, like, the week ahead? So Kenney leaves, which is really not a major shakeup to the game, right? That is not that's not a major social impact to anything that's going on. So what happens now? Tucker was very, very very vocal about the fact that he wanted Quinn to be up on the block because of the power. He was also the sole vote to evict, where the rest of the house said, no, we're going to do Kenney. So there's definitely a Tucker v. Quinn thing looming. And with this power, we can definitely expect Tucker to be on the block at some point, whether it's by straight nomination or a renom as a result of some veto.
Honestly, I don't know that that's the only way he gets on the block. I feel like a lot of people are kind of over Tucker this week.
You think so?
I mean, we even, like, just from, like, a couple of people's DRs in this episode, but I feel like even when people were talking about possibilities of the arena, like, they were not against voting out Tucker tonight.
No, they weren't. And I think, Here's where I think it could get interesting, because I think that Angela is getting saved a lot because she's being viewed as a communal target. So, like, this is
Mm.
not somebody that I need to get rid of right away. Let's just do this thing. We'll leave her here because I can get her later.
Again, though, I don't know that Angela was necessarily saved to save Angela. It was, I think Kenney has the better shot at winning the AI arena against Quinn. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that he necessarily wanted to save Angela. He just wanted to have the best shot at Quinn sitting on the block.
No, that may not have been Tucker's intention, but I still feel like that may have been the house's intention if Angela had stayed up there.
Oh.
I'm not 100% sure that's where I'm really going with that. I'm not 100% sure that Angela would have gone home had things stayed the same. Like, if Tucker removed himself, I still think Kenney would have gone.
Yeah, and if Kenney was still on the block, I think he was going no matter what.
Right. So, like, it's interesting knowing that Angela is still in the mix. She's not safe going into this whole thing. So it's going to depend on who wins this HOH. And there is a world in which if Quinn wins HOH or uses the power, I still feel some potential for Angela to be on the block, because Quinn's got to choose 3 people. So who's Quinn choosing? Clearly Tucker, because he's made it very, very clear that he's going against you. Is there a world in which Angela is not one of the 3?
I don't think there's a world because Angela and Quinn have issues too. And she's the reason why Tucker in the first place even knew about the power at all, because she blew it up. And B, and they've had their own problems regardless of that. So I think Angela would be a shoo-in no matter what.
Right. There's a world in which that if Quinn takes this over, which he probably will, because this is his last week to do so. So regardless who wins, I feel like it's still going to be Quinn that's in power, especially since he knows that everyone else knows that he has this thing.
Right.
So I would immediately think Tucker and Angela. Who would Quinn's 3rd be?
I'm not sure, honestly.
And whoever you select for that is going to change the shape of this whole thing, because Quinn has aligned himself with so many people that other than maybe Brooklyn.
I would think maybe Makensy.
Okay. I could see that.
That's what I would assume.
I think the initial. You're right. I think that Makensy is a little bit tricky because she did win America's Veto because she won a comp. So is that really somebody that you want to readily put up there?
Yes, but again, what is different about this season is that most of them, well, maybe not most of them, but a good chunk of them have just won competitions because they're so crapshooty. Like, up until recently, we hadn't had a repeat winner at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think Tucker might have been the first repeat winner of anything.
Could have been.
From what I can remember, anyway.
So I don't know. There's a number of different ways this could go. I definitely expect Quinn to be in power. And depending on just how things proceed from there is, I think that's what's up for debate. What's really better for Quinn. And that also doesn't mean, because Chelsea is so underrated. Chelsea is another one that I feel like really understands the social dynamic of this game.
Sure.
And that if she sees an opportunity here to kind of manipulate things against Quinn, she might. Which would mean that even if Tucker ends up on the block, does even somebody like Chelsea or people under Chelsea's influence vote Tucker, knowing that this feud is ongoing? Maybe not. Like, there's a lot of world in which Tucker is good in this upcoming week because of.
I don't really think anybody is like counted out, honestly. I've seen some people being like, oh, well, now we're going to get the same people on the block over and over and over again. I don't necessarily think that there's like a surefire way this week is going to go.
No, which is so thrilling. I had seen a tweet from Chada from BB23 saying that her hot take was that she does not believe that America should get a vote in things like this because it can affect their behavior. Because they're so overthinking their perception of America.
Yeah, we touched on that on Tuesday a little bit too, or on Monday a little bit.
what do you think about that now? After now seeing how some of these things played out.
I mean, I definitely think it plays a part. You know, like Quinn played it off really well, like he didn't really care, but at his core, he is a super fan of the game. It is going to, if it didn't hit him already, at some point this week, he's going to be like, wait, I'm clearly doing something wrong. Oh, John's back. What a treat. Um, he's clearly at some point going to be like, America is upset with me about something. How do I make sure if there is another situation where they have, you know, you never know what's going to happen in this game. This season's thing might be that America has a say every week or every couple of weeks. You don't know. So what do I now have to change about the way that I'm navigating through this house and through this game to make sure that America doesn't vote for me again to get a disadvantage? It's absolutely going to take a toll on him in some way.
Yeah, for sure. And I respect the opinion. I don't think she's wrong, but I would also add that, you know, like the real bones of Big Brother is that it was the public that was supposed to be involved in this entire thing. That was the original experiment of Big Brother. That goes back to the very foundation of what this was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a social experiment. And when you watch the version of the show like Big Brother UK, the public has all the say. You know, there is no veto. You don't play all these competitions. You play competitions for immunity, but otherwise, like the public is voting on everything else. Like that is really what Big Brother always was. That's what Australia hates about the version that we have now. Or, well, they had then because cancelled. So, yeah, I don't know. So what did John miss? We were talking about what does this upcoming week look like? Because one can assume that Quinn will be in power, whether he actually wins the HOH or he just gets it by way of using the deep fake. And it's like, so what do his nominees look like? Easily, we see Tucker going up there, you know, because he has been so vocal about his disdain for you. I would say next would be Angela, just because why not? She's already been up there multiple times. She divulged your secret. Who is nominee 3, and what serves Quinn best in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I see Matt over here said something about Chemo already being nominated once. And now, I mean, Chemo, before Quinn's power was made public to the House, I would think that Quinn never would have nominated Chemo necessarily. But I feel like now, didn't it come out in the House that Chemo was the one that kind of spilled the beans? Did we see that on this edit?
Sort of. Tucker in that House meeting did say, like, yeah, you know, Quinn made Angela look crazy because he tried to pretend, you know, she said it, blah, blah, blah. Chemo also said it, so he, like, kind of threw it in there, and Chemo was like, dude, what the hell? You're not supposed to tell him that I told you that. So, like, he did name him, but in feeds, I haven't been keeping up enough to know if that was a conversation or not. But
yeah, like I wonder if maybe that would be a reason that Chemo could go up on the block, you know. But I don't know. Who else is there? So
wait, hold on. Hey, Chris, how you doing, girl?
Hello.
Love Crystal. I know her from many moons ago. I actually got ordained so I could marry her. So that's conversation, Miss Crystal. Yeah, what happens if Tucker wins HOH? That's something that we're not exploring.
I assume Quinn just takes it over.
Definitely, yeah, Quinn definitely takes it over.
Definitely take over. It's interesting to explore, though, if that serves Quinn socially. Now that this power is so exposed, do you do that or do you not? I think you still do. It'd be such a waste.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously gunning for Tucker. Like, he wouldn't have said all that in his you know, eviction speech of being like, if you keep me here, I'll go after Tucker. Like, I feel like that makes it clear he's gonna, you know, the whole house knows he's gonna do this, you know. So and they know
What's interesting about that, though, is that then Tucker's not eligible to be a nominee. So then what happens? Yeah, Crystal's saying it now. Then who's the other person that goes up?
Well, Rabina. Anybody that's an ally of Tucker. Get rid of all of his allies.
Yeah. Now, would he be safe though? That's an interesting
If
question.
he's HOH, I have to assume he's not eligible. Because even when there have been other HOH takeovers, you still can't nominate the HOH, and the veto is
Right.
still,
Tucker would have to be safe.
the
But
veto's
you
still
could
Wow,
definitely,
I kind of love the idea of that then.
Yeah, you could definitely hurt him though by taking out the closest people he has in the game.
And I guess if that's so if he's safe that week, does that mean he's not eligible to win it the next week? Because you already had your immunity?
Who,
I don't
Tucker?
know.
Tucker. So like maybe you didn't have the opportunity to, put people on the block, but you did benefit from the safety of being HOH. So
I
then
feel
what?
like they've been inconsistent about that too, because I'm trying to think back to other times this has happened, and I think both have been true.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the problem. This kind of stuff has always been inconsistent with each
Yeah.
other. So it's like
I have to assume.
Like
I have
the
to assume.
inconsistency because it makes it so much fun to watch.
I have to assume Quinn knows all of the rules, but I also assume that he is the only one that knows all of the rules.
All the rules, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Lots of interesting things. Lots of interesting things. That's all I got. I really have nothing else to add.
Oh well, we have to do our rankings.
We do have to do our rankings. You can get your votes in over here. Again, hashtag first name. If you're voting for Makensy, that's going to be an MJ. Hashtag MJ. We did not do the full Makensy for our friends with on mobile devices. So let me get my pad. We're going to do things a little bit differently going into week 3. We are going to ask Gina to give her votes first.
I'm starting. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're starting. That's right. Equality in House Strat Chat.
Okay. So
Tell us.
I think my 3 points, I'm going to go based on actual gameplay and positioning and how this week has gone down. And I think my 3 are going to go to Cedric.
Ooh, 3 points for Cedric. Tell us why.
So it did seem a little chaotic in the beginning when he was asking somebody to go up as a pawn or whatever, but he did have a clear-cut idea of all right, I want this week to go smoothly. I want to just have my nominations, bing, bang, boom, everything be normal. And then as the week progressed, it was going to be chaotic no matter what happened. And he, instead of going along with the plan that was told to him of this is what you're going to do, he said, you know what? I want to shake things up more than that. That's not beneficial to me. Screw your plan. I'm doing my plan. Pulled off a blind side. I don't know. I think he just did a really solid job.
Great.
With what power he had.
We're here for it. So Cedric gets 3 points from Genies.
Yeah.
Who gets your 2 points?
So for a totally different set of criteria, my 2 points are going to Tucker. Because Team Fun Feeds, he was so chaotic this week. It made for a very interesting and fun week as a viewer. It's not always about who's playing the best game. Sometimes as a viewer, it's just about what's going to be the craziest, wildest thing to watch.
That's
and
exciting. Who is giving me a good time?
Yeah, if nothing else, he's exciting, he's unpredictable, and it's just a fun time.
Love it. Okay. And your number 3. Who's getting your 1 point? Your last point?
Well, to nobody's surprise, my last point's gotta go Quinn. I have to. I gotta give him at least 1.
Boo!
I gotta give him 1. I'm sorry. Look, listen, I understand I might be in the minority of this podcast and the fan base. I love him. I'm sorry.
He had a terrible week. Terrible week.
But I still really enjoy him. I'm not saying he's the best player of the week. I'm saying I like him.
Okay. We respect it.
And he's still my number 1. He was my number 1 from before they even entered the house, and I'm doubling down.
Okay. That's fair enough. How are you feeling about your team as a whole?
That is a very interesting question because my team really is across the board all over the place. The unfortunate truth is we really don't know anything about Cam. We don't see him in the edit. I barely see him on the feeds. He's just kind of existing in the house right now. So I'm excited to see what he does when we get more of him, but I can't really speak to what I think he is right now. I've already gone through Quinn. You know how I feel. Cedric, like I said, I think he's like, his position is pretty good after this week, all things considered, and he is strong in his convictions of, I'm not going to play the game that everybody else wants me to play. I'm going to do my thing. I still think, you know, it is kind of hard to say because there have been so many crapshooty competitions, but I think he's a force to be reckoned with in competitions as well. And Angela, I mean, again, there's something to be said about the fact that she's still here. And if we're going to talk about Team Fun feeds, like, she is bringing the entertainment value.
She's not disappointing us, that's for sure.
And it's so funny because I went back and rewatched some of the clips of when we were first drafting people and why we chose people preseason. And the reasons why I said I chose Angela was because I thought that the fact that there are people in the house that said, I want to work with a motherly figure is going to position her really well. The person who said that was Matt. And I said that she's just a very endearing and likable person. And we see how she's walked around this house ever since. So while my initial criteria might not have been correct, I still love her for a totally different set of reasons now.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as she's getting love, she's not getting your votes to be the renom, you know? So that certainly means something. Great. Great. All right. So, John, what do you think? How are you feeling about things?
So this week, I will not be giving anyone on my own team any points.
Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
I know.
That's interesting, especially being what your team is.
Yeah.
Well, after the week we had,
good-looking team. You got a good-looking team here, though.
Oh yeah, very attractive, very very sexy. Yes.
That's not what I meant. I meant good-looking.
I know. So here's why. Everyone on my team I still like, and I think they're positioned pretty well. I'm excited about them. But
so
this week was explosive. It was explosive, you know, and so I can't ignore the true stars of the week. I can't ignore. Okay, I'm gonna give. You know, I like to go in the opposite order. I like to give my 1 point out first, and then go to my 3-pointer. So
it's annoying how I write it down, but all right.
I mean, this is the way it should be. You give the least points, and then you reveal the big winner at the end. That's the way it should be.
Well, all right. Well, when you're writing it down on a pad, you got to go backwards. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1.
My 1 point this week is actually going to Angela.
Wow. Okay.
She is completely insane. This woman is totally off her rocker. But as I mentioned earlier, she made herself the biggest target in the house week 1 with her crazy HOH and her crazy eyes impression and all that. And yet here she is weeks later, not only still in the house, but having a person that is on the block at risk of eviction using the veto that they won to take Angela down instead. I don't care what the reason is. That's insane.
Oh,
and I'm gonna give Angela a point for that. Okay.
All right.
Cedric is my next one. I'm giving him 2 points.
Cedric, huh? Cedric.
Okay.
Because this was like the opposite of Chelsea's HOH, where she like had a pretty smooth HOH. Nobody really mad at her. And yet somehow, as crazy and insane as this week was, Cedric came out of this looking pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I don't think there's anybody, maybe other than Tucker, that has a big problem with Cedric right now. So I'm going to give him 2 points.
Okay.
Yeah. My 3 points is going to go to the star of the week, Tucker himself.
There it is.
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's crazy, but I mean, he made this whole week. What would this week have been without Tucker?
Without Tucker.
So it has to be. He has to get 3 points. I'm just for the fact that he caused all of the craziness that happened between winning volunteering to go on the block, winning the veto, not using it on himself, trying to literally
overthrow Cedric as the HOH to carry out his own plan. The plan doesn't go the way he wants it. He has this crazy showdown with Cedric where they're like going at it all week. Like, how can you not give him the 3 points for the week when he literally was the catalyst for everything crazy that happened? So there it is. That's my 3.
Okay. All right. I think that's all fair. You know what? Everyone's opinions is always fair.
Yes.
I know I posed a question and I was ill prepared for it. Okay. Here's what I'm doing. It's going to be highly controversial.
Wow.
I am not going to do in the order that Gina chose, and I am not going to do the order that John chose.
Oh, jeez.
I will instead completely buck the system, and I'm going to reveal my 2-point choice first.
Okay.
Just because I want to be different. I don't want to be accused of being a follower. I'm going to forge my own path in the chat that we so affectionately refer to as Strat. And I'm going to give my 2 points to Cedric.
Okay.
I don't like how he did Tucker in this week. I understand that you all are telling me that he told him to use the veto for him. I still do not accept moves against my temporary king. I guess my prince will say, because my forever king is Ferris Basal. So I'm not going to go that far. So I'm going to say Cedric will get my 2 points for standing his ground. He wanted his HOH to go a certain way, and damn it, it went the way he said. Except for the fact that, America's thing. So there is that. So 2 for Cedric. My 1 point, no one's going to see this coming. This is the first time this person has been awarded any points.
Wow. Okay.
And I am going to give 1 singular point to the lady we call Makensy.
Wow. Okay.
You know what? She did what she had to do to earn the power, to give her the right to come off the block, and I think she deserves something for using it correctly. She was put up there. She took herself right down. She did exactly what she said she was going to do with the power that she earned on premiere night. All right. You got to give her something. You got to give her something for that. And my number 1 pick of the week, my full 3 points are going to Prince Tucker. Because once again, we would not have had the week that we had with the unpredictability. I will say that the other people living in this community that I live in definitely thought that I was watching some kind of sports. My windows were wide open because we are definitely benefiting from low humidity, lower temperatures here in New York, okay, in the high 60s, all right? So I was very delighted to turn the AC off and open some windows, but I'm sure that was much to the chagrin of the people in the community. But I was cheering at the top of my lungs when this man won the AI arena, and I'm not 100%.
Which also, can we talk about how crazy that one was? That was insane.
It was insane. You had to actually grab all these little red balls and stack them in a little thing. This really could have gone any way. And it was so exciting to me because it literally, I always look for those opportunities where production may have manipulated something or anything like that. It doesn't matter how much practice you would have been given in something like this. It's totally a crapshoot. How many are you able to grab this time? The randomness of it. I'm concerned that going forward, again, this is going to paint him as a little bit too much of a comp threat.
Sure.
I think almost every competition he's played in, other than the HOHs, he's won.
And he won the last 2 AI arenas by a landslide too. It wasn't even close. And I knew he was going to win it from the first time because I thought he had a ball in his hand and he threw 5 in right off the bat. And I said, "Oh, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble."
Yeah, so I this could kind of work against him a little bit, but
Mhm.
for this week, I'm giving him those 3 points, and I'm
Yeah.
really hoping and trusting that when Quinn puts him up this week, that he's going to be able to remove himself somehow.
Mhm.
Unless there's some world in which Quinn and Tucker say, "Hey, maybe we should work together." No one would expect it. Let's do this thing on the side. We have seen things like that happen before, so who knows? Who's to say? Who's to
Not
say?
unheard of, yeah.
No, it's not crazy. So that's that. That's where we stand with that. John, how do you feel about your team? We had a moment to discuss Gina's a little bit more. Maybe we did talk about yours. Did we talk about yours?
I briefly did mention. Well, I mentioned it when I was saying that I wasn't giving my team any points this
Mhm.
week.
Mm-hmm,
It's not. It's not necessarily because I don't think that they're not doing well in the game. I think that they are actually set up okay right now.
They're
I
all
could see
positioned really well.
all four of the people that I have left. I could see them all making jury. Now I probably
Yeah.
just jinxed myself, but I could see it happening. But
You may
they just
have.
weren't.
You can only take one hit though at this stage, right?
Right.
I think
Right.
that after the next week we should be getting to jury.
Right.
It's usually after the first 5, yeah.
First
So
5. All right, so
I
we
feel.
2 weeks later, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel pretty good about them. I just feel like they were not the stars of this week. Well, clearly we talked about Rabina not having a DR since week 2, so or week 2 HOH. So I think it's technically week 1, really, that she hasn't had a DR. So like she's clearly not the star of the show. Leah, I don't know what the hell she's doing. I feel like Chemo and Chelsea are more involved in things, but
Sure.
most of what I see about Leah on Twitter is that she seems to have a thing for like Cam or something like that, maybe. So
There's a
I
weird
don't
thing
know.
with Cam and with Tucker, I believe, with Leah.
Okay. Well, clearly
I'm
the thing with
surprised that
Tucker,
Leah
the
is
thing with
interested in Cam at all. Like I thought she was
Yeah,
a
the whole thing was like the chain of showmances were like this one likes that one, but that one likes this one, and this one likes them, and they like them, and like whatever. So like,
Yeah, I saw that, but like, I thought she liked the fatties.
she is like into Tucker though, or at least she was. I don't know if that's changed since the Rabina stuff has started, but
yeah, but who
she may have to
wouldn't be into
shift.
Tucker? I was saying to Blevins last night. I was like, yeah, I would throw my whole Big Brother game away for Tucker.
for Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Chemo's also into Tucker. Rubina's into Tucker. Leah's into Tucker.
I get it, Jal. I ain't judging. I ain't judging at all. I mean, that's the whole reason why I chose the man.
That is true.
Yeah, I said, listen, I don't know anything about him. I just think he's super hot, and I'm just taking him. My team has no hits. Got no hits over here. I like my team. I still feel like I'm in a good position. Even though, like, Makensy was put on the block, she was only put there because everyone knew she had the power. Like, I don't think people are really looking at her otherwise.
Yeah.
I think the only person that's looking at Joseph is Matt Blevins, because no one's really talking about Joseph otherwise.
I will say the only thing about Joseph that I'll say, because I haven't really seen any evidence from what I've seen, but I have missed a lot on the feeds.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen people on Twitter saying that Joseph seems to be out of the loop on like a lot of things. Like nobody really talks that much game with him. He's not really involved with anybody like working with them really closely. So like, I haven't really seen any evidence. We haven't seen anybody really say his name. He hasn't been up on the block at all. Like I don't really necessarily think of him as being in danger necessarily. But like when I see people on Twitter talking about how he doesn't seem to really know what's going on or that he's not really working with anybody, I guess I would worry about Joseph because maybe he is an easy person to just throw on the block.
Yeah, the social part of his game is definitely lacking a lot.
Yeah. But like literally, if that's the worst thing that anyone can say about your team, I feel like you're in pretty good shape.
Yes, except for the fact that, like, shout out to Man on the Moon, pointing out the whole Makensy thing with her brother.
If we didn't get to it, I was going to circle back because we have to. We have
to talk about that. I want to go back to my team, but we do have to mention this whole thing with Makensy first. That
was weird. This is really weird.
That was pretty icky. I was like, unless you are a Targaryen, I really can't accept this whole thing. It was really uncomfortable. To hear her talk about how her brother is basically her soulmate, like for a quick second you wanted to say, oh, that sounds sweet, and the further she went, and I think she had also added to that statement that, you know, she is forever lamenting the fact that she will have to marry somebody else other than her brother. It just,
That is
you know,
correct. That is exactly what she said.
and didn't she say like and replace him or something? Like it was
Yeah,
weird.
I don't want
It was
anybody to
very
replace him
weird.
as my number one man. I'm upset I have to marry another man because he's supposed to be my number one man.
oh my,
Very strange.
I don't know
Very
about
strange.
that,
Although
girly.
very strange. Although I will say she didn't really seem to be thinking about her brother very much when she was, you know, hanging out with Matt. So,
I will say the memes that have come out of that conversation have been so funny because there was one of like someone took the screenshot of like the crazy eyed Matt or whatever, and they were like Matt realizing that his biggest competition is going to be Mackenzie's brother,
I
and I
saw
was
that
like,
too.
oh my
I
god.
saw that too. Yeah. Ooh, ickies,
wow.
ickies.
Ugh, yikes.
But with all that being said, I don't think she's in grave danger this week.
Especially, I think she also is.
Soon.
Yeah, and I think now that she doesn't have the power anymore, too, people are gonna.
They don't care about her.
Yeah. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, can I just say one other thing about Cedric? And this is kind of what bothered me too about. Again, I'm sorry, Gina, but this is what bothered me too about Quinn not being voted out tonight. Is because Tucker gave, and I know Tucker did vote to evict Quinn,
Mhm.
but I feel like there was a lot said about flushing out these powers. And while Tucker didn't get his way with Cedric, in a way, I mean, he didn't have control over America's vote, sure. But if the House just voted to take out Quinn, Cedric could have played this perfectly because Cedric put up Makensy, forced her to flush out her power. America nominates Quinn. The House evicts Quinn. Now, on Cedric's HOH, the whole House has totally flushed out both powers. They're gone. That would have been a very successful week, I think, for the entire House. Both of these powers are now gone.
Mm.
But they kept Quinn around, and now there's this question of like, what's going to happen with the next HOH? Do we throw it to Quinn? Do we not throw it to Quinn, and he can use the power? So I don't know.
Sorry, I couldn't help but laugh at this comment. I do agree with you, but this comment's very silly.
I agree with you too, but like I showed it without actually knowing what it said. It took a couple of rereads. Man on the Moon, obviously, with these golden comments. You know, MJ crying at Matt's eviction was with the caption, MJ realizing Big Brother isn't what she was hoping the show was. Yikes.
Yeah.
You know, I can admit, while I love Quinn and I don't want to see him go anywhere, that it would have been smart to have flushed both powers this week. I do agree with that. As much as I didn't want to see Kenney anymore, and I obviously don't want to see Quinn go anywhere, it would have been smart.
They should have kept Kenney for one more week just to make sure that deepfake thing left.
Yeah, they could have been in that house right now, competing for the next HOH, knowing that everyone was on a level playing field with no powers at all, and now they have to wonder what's going on, you know, with this deepfake HOH. So, I just think, and like for Cedric, that's a big thing to have in your resume. Like, yeah, my HOH week, we got rid of both powers, you know, like, but.
Oh, I will say, per our earlier conversation, Puya just tweeted, I don't think they've played HOH yet, but Puya just tweeted that Quinn told Joseph that he would likely put Angela, Tucker, and Rubina up on the block.
Rubina makes some sense now that she's kind of been attached to Tucker.
Maybe we'll get a Rubina DR this week, huh?
Finally. And then we have another twist that's on the horizon. So the week ahead, obviously we have our regular Sunday episode where we find out, for the casuals anyway, who won HOH. But then after that, we have a special episode of Big Brother where we're having Jag, Taylor, and Cody come back and give their thoughts on the gameplay within these first 3 weeks of Big Brother 26, as well as the unveiling of a new twist. For me, bring on the twists. I love anything that shakes the house up. I am down for all that stuff. What do you think?
I'm down as well. I think that the America's Vote twist was awesome. I
love it.
Listen,
Yeah,
I still really like the at least the idea of the deepfake HOH. I do think
have we seen in shows, I don't know if necessarily Big Brother, but like if there is a power that's supposed to be secret, if it gets out and is made public, it's now done. Which makes me feel like the deep fake HOH, which is supposed to be a secret, if it's not a secret anymore, I feel like that should almost nullify it. Who the hell cares anymore? If something weird starts happening next week, with the nominations and stuff, everybody's going to know it's Quinn anyway. I just feel like this is kind of a weird. I feel like it defeats the purpose of a deep fake HOH.
That's a big criticism every time that something like this happens, because it's not the first time we've seen a power like this. It's, not exactly the same, but like Jag had a similar one. Claire had a similar one. And I still don't remember if it was Casey's HOH it happened on, or if Casey was the one who had the power. But like, we've seen these all before where people say like, if you reveal to everybody that you have the power and now it gives you like this weird safety, like it should be a requirement. You cannot tell anybody that you have this power, because otherwise you're just granting yourself safety unnecessarily, and it's not doing what it was intended to do. Like the fan base has consistently been upset about that.
Yeah, and think about how different this would be. We'd be going into this week if Quinn, it was explained to him that like, listen, if you tell anyone about this, it's nullified. You can't use it. Think about how exciting this week would be going into it, thinking like, oh, Quinn has this power. It's the last time that he can use it. Like, what's going to happen this week? And instead, he is the one that spilled the beans himself, like, spreading this around. Now the whole house knows about it. And I feel like I was very excited about this specific power, this deep fake HOH. Yeah. And now I feel like all of that excitement has been taken out of it.
Yeah.
Because either Quinn's the HOH and the power doesn't matter, or he's not the HOH and we just know that he's going to take it over anyway. Like, I don't know. It's the whole thing now I've kind of soured on, but I think the twist itself is very good. If maybe they tweak it and say like, listen, this is supposed to be a deep fake secret thing. If you tell anyone, you can't use it.
Right.
Like, so.
There's a lot of layers to that, because I think that if played correctly, I will start this with Survivor is definitely a different game than Big Brother, but we definitely saw, not to call back to this, but to call back to it because he is my forever king. But we saw the power that you can have in a very public power when we saw Titans vs Rebels on Australian Survivor. Like, Ferris had a very, very public idol, and you were able to kind of navigate around that because the threat of having that kind of kept you safe. So you're letting that power kind of speak for you for a little while. And the problem is, though, like, these powers are all about to expire, and people also know. So like,
no, yeah, but I get that. But like, if you're going to call this thing the deep fake HOH, that means that nobody's supposed to know about it. So like, listen, it's still, I get it. It could be interesting because if there's a different HOH and they don't really have any power, and let's see what Quinn does. But it's like all the excitement is taken out of it because we're all going to be sitting there when the nominations are made, and it's going to be like, none of these nominations are real.
Yeah.
like it's Quinn's nominations. Really, who cares? Like, the whole point of the power has been removed, I feel like. So it's like, whoever wins this HOH, if it's not Quinn, everyone's going to be walking around like Quinn's still the HOH. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, but
yep,
you're right. And I think that an immunity idol can be used in lots of different ways, whereas this is literally called the deep fake HOH.
Right. It's not a deep fake at all, if we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's that on that for Big Brother 26 this week. I don't really have anything else. Do you all have anything else for the benefit of the community?
I don't think so.
The only other thought I have in my brain right now is that Julie better do better next week. So,
I think we collectively can agree on that. Honestly. What do we have coming up? Today is August 8th. There's a lot of things happening. Last night on MTV, we saw a preview episode of the Challenge 40. And I will say, anyone who is a fan of this show, new or old, this was not a throwaway episode. This was not just random clips of that. You actually got to see them move into the house or the villa, whatever you want to call it. The house is beautiful. It was so exciting to also see some more backstory with some of the older challengers and
Mhm.
certainly some of the newer ones. Because we know that this is going to be played in 4 different eras, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously, chronicling the decade that it spans, right? So era 1 is seasons 1 through 10, 2 being 11 through 19, and so on and so forth. I don't want to get lost in all that. But you got to see a lot of different things that work because you know that they're going to be starting this game playing as one team, and a lot of these eras have some drama amongst them all, and you got to get this really shone a lot of light on some of that stuff. So, like, if you didn't watch it, definitely tune in. It was a really, really good watch. I'm actually looking forward to rewatching it because it was so much fun. But that
All
was
right.
on last night. That was the 7th.
Yeah, I still have to watch. I definitely want to watch it. I was working last night, so I couldn't, but I plan to. Because, like you said, I haven't even seen it, but like the idea that like there's all these different eras, but each person, they all know each other still, even if they're not in their own eras. Like it's interesting. This is setting up a very interesting dynamic. So sorry.
And I'm excited to watch it too because I think you had said in the group chat, like, as somebody who has only seen the last 3 seasons of the challenge, like I'm not really well versed in a lot of the lore, and I think that's kind of been my positioning in our challenge chats. Is like Kyle and John go off and talk about stuff, and I just kind of sit here like, I don't know who any of these people are. So I think it's going to be like a very helpful guide for me to like kind of get to catch up on a lot of the stuff that I've missed over these last like 40 years.
Yeah,
40 seasons.
it was really, really good. I mean, obviously, you're not getting every single story,
Sure.
but you're certainly getting enough to understand what baggage people are coming into this season with.
And I have to
it
imagine
was
too, like, because this season's already filmed, so I have to assume that they chose to put the baggage in that's going to be relevant and helpful, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm telling you, you're gonna like this episode. I watched it as like, I don't have anything else to watch. You know, my partner has better things to do right now, so just sitting at home alone. And I was like, this is a throwaway thing to watch, but like, I really, really dug it.
No, I'm excited to
So
watch it.
definitely give that a look see because we are going to be starting our Challenge 40 coverage next week because the premiere is on the 14th. We still have yet to decide exactly how we're going to handle our Thursday nights because all of a sudden we are booked, busy. Well, always been blessed. So we'll see what's going on with the 15th. But for the 12th, we will be discussing Claim to Fame at 9:30 p.m. And I would like to, as long as I'm definitely free, because, Mondays have become a maybe for your boy KPB. I would love to be doing some challenge preseason chatter and drafting some fucking teams on Monday.
Yeah.
There is no reason why Claim to Fame has to be any longer than 45 minutes. That would bring us to 10:15, which means I don't see any reason why we could not be streaming, as long as I'm free, by 10:30 on the 12th. Like,
Sure.
let's draft these teams.
You know what's interesting too? So there's 40 players, right?
Mm-hmm. Only
Which
going to be
means that
one person that's
There's
not
going to be
drafted.
one undrafted person. Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I thought about that last night. Only one, and I can't wait to see who that person is.
I know, because
I also-
these people are supposed to be like legends in their own right.
Uh-huh.
You know, like it's the best from these 4 eras.
They're awesome, and I'm excited to decide how we're going to split this up. Like, do you want to just go male, female, male, female? Do you want to split up by eras? That could actually maybe damage the fact that there's going to be one left over, because maybe the one left over. would be
Oh,
the
sure.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. Maybe just male, female in general. We have to count how many males, how many females. I don't know. Is it 20 and 20? Prob's not.
It
Lots
probably
to
is.
figure out.
Probably. I bet it's even because I feel like it usually is.
Typically, yeah.
I guess so.
Because when they alternate between like male and female eliminations and stuff, I feel like they try to keep it pretty even.
Mm-hmm.
Matt is already lobbying for Fitzgerald, saying that the 12th is my birthday, so you can't leave.
Wow, you almost threw up. You almost
I
threw up.
can't.
in your
I
mouth.
couldn't even get it. I couldn't even get it out.
Wow.
I just my body said absolutely not.
I thought you were like being dramatic as a haha.
No, it was it literally almost came out like forget it. I don't know. She might be undrafted.
She could be. She's definitely not on my short list.
I mean, it depends on who's in that final round.
And listen, I was a big Michelle fan at one point, and the last couple of seasons though that she's been on, jeez, she sucks.
Hashtag irritant. Caps lock on. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry, Man on the Moon. You are
Man
mistaken.
on the Moon doesn't know this podcast.
Ronnie Reigns won't be undrafted. I do know that he could be potentially problematic. I know all these things, but I will take him. Just saying.
Yeah, Kyle's not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
He won't.
Kyle changed. Kyle changed his name for this man at one point.
I did.
You did.
It won't happen again. We're booed up.
Yeah,
but
you're taken.
No, I ain't taken.
You're taken by the winner of Australian Survivor.
No, but that's why you have to do Kyle Petty Basal something. Like it's got to just get longer.
I won't disrespect him in that way.
Okay.
That's just not the right thing to do. This is just my name now. Sorry to anyone who was hoping I might stand them. It's over. It's over. So that's the plan coming up. All right. So today's the 8th. On the 12th, we've got Claim to Fame at 9:30. And then definitely, don't feel free. Challenge 40, preseason chatter and draft at 10:30. And that then brings us to Thursday the 15th. We're definitely going to be live with BB26, 15 minutes after the episode. Now, whether or not we do the challenge right after that, we will be letting you know. We'll let you know on the 12th. We should have a plan by then, but make sure you're watching the challenge 40 on the 14th at what I believe is 8 p.m. on the MTV Music Television.
MTV.
Nice. So thank you all for joining us. Matt, we're not even going to show that comment because it's black.
Yeah, disrespectful.
I thought it was funny. I just can't control it.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I am not going to show that either.
No,
Disrespectful.
We're not going to have it. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod, and you will not find us on Blue Sky. Thank you very, very much. I chose this outro for once, so we can kind of...